Time for this week's pickup video. This video I'm doing a little bit early. It's not Saturday. I'm getting ready to go to Retromania over in Canton, North Carolina, so I figured I'd do my pickup video early so I don't have to mess with it this weekend when I get back from the Retromania event. Anyway, here's my pickups for this week. First thing I got a hold of is I did a trade, and I was able to get a hold of a sealed Miner 2049er for the Commodore 64. This is the cartridge version, and this is going to my buddy SoCal Mike of the Retro Gaming Roundup podcast. He's also doing the ColecoVisions podcast with me as well, which we're going to be recording next weekend, the first episode, which is January 25th. It'll be episode number 1. We're going to cover the history of Coleco. We're going to cover the ColecoVision system itself, the console, the packing game Donkey Kong, and we're also going to cover a classic Coleco toy, the Donkey Kong VFD tabletop arcade game as well. So if you have any kind of stories or anything like that about these items, drop me an email or something. You can reach me at ColecoVisionspodcast@gmail.com, and we'll read your story or your audio submission on the air, well, on the podcast. Anyway, moving on. Also picked up a couple kits from Console 5. This is the 5-volt memory kit that Console5.com sells. And what this does is the video memory that's on the ColecoVision board, it's odd. It takes a 12-volt supply, a 5-volt supply, and a negative 5-volt supply. And it's not all that reliable. You get a lot of garbled graphics and stuff when the 5-volt, minus 5-volt rail starts to fluctuate or whatever. This eliminates all that and makes all the memory chips 5 volts. It has chips in here, new chips. These are 4116s, I think. And it comes with sockets. So you take the old sockets out of the board, take the old chips out of the board, put these sockets in, and you can plug the new chips into the sockets. Not worry about soldering the chips back onto the board, which I like that quite a bit. So I plan on doing this to my ColecoVision here really soon. I'll be doing a modification video on it. So keep an eye out for that. I also picked up myself from my ColecoVision this week. I picked up Congo Bongo. Nice port of the arcade version. A lot of fun to play. Kind of reminds me of kind of like a Donkey Kong kind of game almost, but in kind of a 3D perspective. Then for my Sega Master System, I picked up Golvelius. Golvelius, yeah, that's how it's spelled, Golvelius. It's kind of like a Zelda type game for the Sega Master System. It's kind of neat to play. It's a lot of fun. If you like Zelda type games, you'll probably like this. Kind of reminds me a lot of the 8-bit Zelda on the NES. So I might do a little bit more play of this later on. And then for my buddy SoCal Mike, he sent me a bunch of stuff. He recently made a big haul, a great score of retro items recently, and we went through the box together over Skype, and he had some stuff in there that I wanted, so he laid a bunch of stuff off to the side for me. And here's what he sent me. First thing he sent me was River Raid for my Atari 8-bit. I collect Atari 8-bit games as well, only on cartridge, and I was pretty happy to get a hold of this finally because I've been looking for this for my 8-bit system. Then for my ColecoVision, he sent me Super Cobra. I like Scramble, and this is kind of like Scramble. Really fun game. He sent me a really nice looking Star Trek, the arcade game, for my ColecoVision. Pretty good port of the arcade game. The ColecoVision had a lot of good ports. It was a very impressive system. It's just too bad the video game crash happened not too long after this thing was launched, because I got a feeling it really would have took off. And then also for my ColecoVision, he sent me a really nice Bump and Jump. I love this game in the arcade, so this is really neat to have now for my ColecoVision. Another great arcade port for the older systems. And then for my Toy 2600 system, he sent me Strategy X by Konami. Neat little tank game. It's kind of fun. I didn't really know about this game because I don't really collect really hard for my Atari. I got a few games, put about 60 games or so up there. But I first heard about this from Ferg on his Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast, and he covered this cartridge. This one and another Konami game that I really like that they make. Marine Wars, I think, is the other one that I got a hold of. But yeah, I tried this out because of his podcast, and now I got one. So awesome. And then I also picked up another classic Coleco toy, the Quiz Whiz. It looks like in there. Pretty cool. Pretty neat little deal. And basically what you do is you look up a question inside this little booklet here that it comes with. Little questions here. And you type in the question number, right there. And then you pick A, B, C, or D, what you think it is, and hit answer. And either the red LED will come on and tell you, nope, you're wrong, or the green LED comes on and says, yes, you're right. So right now I got movies and TV loaded in this thing. Let's try a question out here real quick. Okay, let's try the first one. Question number 1. Where's it at? There it is. Who is Edith and Archie's grandson? Just turn it on. First thing we'll do is hit clear. And our choices are A, Mike Jr., B, Archie 2, C, Billy, or D, Joey. So who is Edith and Archie's grandson? So we'll type question number 1 here. And then I got to pick one of these here. It was A, B, C, or D. So what do I think here? Let's think here. Let's try D, Joey. D, Joey. I hit answer. And it says green. Yes, I was correct. Now if I chose the wrong answer, it would have done this. Red LED. So that's kind of cool. I'm sending this to my buddy SoCal Mike. We're going to use this on the podcast. Maybe do like a little quiz whiz trivia thing or something. We'll figure something out to do with those. But I've got myself one as well. I got the 1001 questions, which what originally came with the Quiz Whiz when it was released. Now something I did notice between these two consoles here is this console here and this console there will react to the wrong question a different way. For example, this one here, if I guess the wrong answer and I hit another key and hit answer, it'll let me eventually find the correct answer. But this one here, if I select the wrong answer to begin with and I hit another key and hit answer again, it'll just keep saying it's the wrong answer even though I select all 4. So evidently there was a little bit of a programming change from this one to that one. So I have to do a little research on that and probably give more details about it on the podcast when we get to this in our lineup. Anyway, got this one here with cartridge number 1 with 1001 questions. And I got some other cartridges. I have number 6, music and books. And number 7, Mathmania. And the last one, people and places. So I got to send a couple of these to my buddy SoCal, and I'll keep a couple for myself or 3. And we'll cycle through them on the podcast every once in a while as a little bonus kind of thing. Also in the podcast, just so you're aware, is at the end of every podcast, if we featured a ColecoVision game on the podcast, both SoCal Mike and I are going to play that game at the very end of the podcast to see who gets the high score. And whoever gets the highest score doesn't have to edit the podcast. I like it. Awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching. Game on!